introduce Vandana Bhatt. Vandana is the co-founder and of Hospitalities Group. She's had the privilege of helping thousands of candidates find their dream job in their role as an executive search consultant. Vandana loves to connect talented individuals with the right opportunities within the hospitality industry. As a busy mother of two, she understands the importance of balancing work and family life and enjoys various hobbies in her free time, including reading, writing, traveling, singing, and photography. Vandana hopes her stories touch people's hearts. And please give her a warm welcome as she reads from her original work, My Worst Nightmare.
Hi everyone, my name is Vandana. I owe most of my writing to the Milton Public Library, I would say, because I joined the Writers Circle. Diane manages it, and I joined the circle during the tough times, COVID, when we were all home and then we had to be online doing all those sessions. I think those times we knew about each other than writing as well. We could understand each other's families and everything because we were online every week for 2 hours, more than that sometimes. So that's how I started. I was already writing travel blog, but then they introduced me to descriptions and different descriptive writing, and I started writing short stories later after that. So this one, My Worst Nightmare. It says, 6-year-old Julian lived in a valley surrounded by the rugged mountains. His affectionate and charming aura got him tons of friends who liked his bubbly and chatty personality. Julian was very kind, well-mannered, compassionate, and soft by nature. His school was just around the corner, around 100 steps from home. He was glad he didn't have to race to reach the school like everybody. Despite his bright personality, his school uniform carried most of the dark colors: grey pants, light blue shirt with a grey logo, and on the right side of pocket a grey-blue tie, like we all do. He hated it, as it resembled the gloomy sky. He was never worried about getting his knees scraped when summer days brought short grey shorts back. An ace student, Julian spent most of the time in active learning and developing cognitive skills. His friendly attitude was intriguing to the girls and boys in his class. In the evening, children came together to play on the street or on the porch after finishing their homework. Overall, he was enjoying a fantastic childhood while having a great time with the children in the class and neighborhood. Julian lived in an apartment in a community where many buildings and several apartments. The government had done a master development for their employees and their families. The vicinity included parks and schools. There were street markets outside the east and west gates of the community within the walking distance. While the construction was going on, Julian saw the structure built in front of his eyes. It thrilled him to see the laborers working rigorously through day and night. The development plan included a new school and park for the children. As he walked past the building every day with his parents, the idea of having an apartment close to school park and a few meters away from the east gate had kept them captivated. The months passed, they got their apartment on the 3rd floor of the new building. As Julian grew older, the children gossiped during playtime. Someone mentioned in the park next to their building was a children's cemetery in the past, where thousands of children were buried and cremated. The park was full of colors during the daytime when he visited with his friends and all the time. They went on the slides, seesaw, but as the night fell off, his overactive mind began creating stories based on the things told by his friends. To his disgrace, their family room window faced the park, which was compelling him to freak out at night. It scared him to move from one room to another and always expected company. He always expected company. There was a temple on the other side of the park, and everybody, all the children, started visiting on Tuesday night. They recreated horrifying stories while walking through the park, leaving him startled. The park was shortcut to his home, but he had to walk through a longer road if he wanted to avoid it. He was fine during the day, as lots of people walked by, but nights were quiet, especially in winter. Sometimes he closed his eyes and ran from one end to another to escape the park. His heart pounded and his legs pervaded his mind. His lungs fell out of the air. He breathed only when he reached in front of the building and saw the bright lights covering the area. He skipped 3 steps at a time as he climbed upstairs towards his apartment. Julian became more stressed day by day. He avoided watching horror movies and won't talk about them anymore. Dark places frightened him. He couldn't stay alone and always felt someone was watching him or was around. Nightmares became regular. Once at midnight, he woke up to a supernatural dream while everyone at home was sleeping. He covered his head inside the blanket and thought of all the weird, horrible stuff he could imagine. The imaginative mind raced with insecurity and his body covered in sweat. But he still stayed in the blanket and started praying so he could finally fall back asleep. His fatigued body commanded to snore, leaving him drowsy, but his mind said, no, no, no. Remember what happened there? About the story? His brain repulsed and couldn't shut down. The next day he woke up traumatized by thinking about all the creepy things at night. He was exhausted. The trips to the bathroom became terrifying, and if he had to pee in the middle of the night, he'd just hold it until his windows reflected sunlight. As he grew older, these small talks and gossips by the neighborhood children turned his fear into a phobia. He often dreamed of ghosts and monsters. He saw demons chasing him on the run. One night, he woke up to the feeling of someone heavy over his body. Julian tried to wake his parents by screaming loud, but they couldn't hear him. It turned out to be a dream, which still left him petrified. He tried very hard to go back to sleep.